Okay,
Good.
we've been talking about this for a long time.
We have, yes. And now I'm here. I'm famous.
And you had some surgery.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And now I'm
Brilliant
famous.
surgery. And now I'm famous.
Actually, she was famous a long time ago when December 2019 when she was in our commercial.
This is true. This is true.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, sobbing, hysterical.
The pieces that we could use.
But it was
Big
true.
love.
I think I had tried to reflect and be like, what are some things I could say that would communicate what I feel inside to normal humans? Couldn't get there.
Maybe you went too far there, and then you were like, I just love it.
Yes, yeah, and just the sobbing because I had booked my first session.
Yes.
For many reasons, like we all do, but the main thing for me was I could not be in my right mind. I could not be in the beauty industry and ask people to feel a certain way about themselves and prioritize themselves a certain way when I at the time was afraid to take a picture at all. Like very photo scared.
Yes.
So my thought process was, if I can take a naked photo, I can take photos and I can get over this like strange little ism that I had. And like the outcome was so much more than that. I never thought that I would be a bazillion session type of lady.
Yes.
And then here we are. I feel like you've...
And who are we?
Oh yeah.
We didn't even say. Well, obviously I'm Tanya.
Hey,
owner
bestie,
of Beauty
I'm
Marks.
Bestie. Who's Bestie?
Who's Bestie? Owner of Beauty Marks Boudoir. And this is Sara.
Sarah Davies.
Yes. What do you do, Sara? Tell them.
I am a body hair removal expert
Yes.
in Fargo, serving Fargo, Moorhead, and Detroit Lakes. And yeah, my job is to remove only exactly as much body hair as you want.
I love that so much.
Yeah, business name Easy Mornings.
Yes.
Because easy mornings lead to better days.
And that is what she's talking about. So she's in the beauty industry, serving people, making people feel good. But then you had this like feeling.
It's an integrity. It was a compromise of integrity. And I
yeah.
just didn't want to engage with it anymore. I was like, I got to get through this and move forward.
Yeah,
So
you
that
couldn't
I
say
can
the same things to you that you were saying to other people.
Yeah, because I didn't want to be full of shit.
So
You
her
know?
session was actually, so we did the commercial. I did a commercial with Midco, December 2019. So your session was just a month, maybe a month and a half at most before that, your very first session.
Yep.
And how many have we done since then? We were just talking about it.
4 more since then.
So it was...
If you count the commercial, that would be number 2.
Okay.
Then there have been 4 more.
Because we did do a mini shoot then, too. On the black sofa, which is now gone. Rest easy. It's not gone. It's not gone. I know exactly where it's at, and I'll probably visit it one day, Hannah. Yeah, then it was your birthday shoot, little sushi outside in the park, and then the other spin of that.
Yeah, it was kind of a 2-part shoot because we did the business babe outside kind of like
So cute.
Make it cutesy.
It's on our website. Melted my heart when I found it there. I was like on our website and I was like, oh, I took that.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite images because it felt like me.
It was so
I was
playful.
like, this is me coming out into the world on a 2-dimension, and it's all there.
Very
Fantastic. But yeah, we did that, and then the second part was at the
Airbnb?
yeah. I was
Okay.
like, what's the word? I was thinking Beauty Marks Boudoir, B&B. No, that's not it. But yeah, and
One of my favorite shoots, like ever. I don't know what it was about that. It felt very intentional, even though it was on a whim feeling.
Yep.
It felt deep.
I feel like we played with the space. Like, I feel like there was a me and you thing happening there, but there's also like there were so many fun elements to that space. Like, and I would say, oh, this one's my favorite. No, this one's my favorite. But I think weirdly, like some of my favorite ones from that shoot were actually like the ones where I was like in a chair and just like,
Oh yeah, in the gown, and they were powerful.
yeah.
And then I just felt like when I photograph you, I feel like I can breathe. Like I really feel like I can breathe easy, that we can be playful and fun together. And like I feel that with a lot of people, but there's just this added element that I know I can try this.
It's
I
the
know
just
I
try
can
it.
try
Yeah,
this.
just try it.
And so we were on this like weird rug that was very spirally and spirally, and those looked great.
Yeah.
And then we were on the chair, and you're in a nightgown, but we did power poses in this like nightie, and those looked great. And then it was the bathroom and some
the mirror pictures. Oh, I love those too.
Yes.
Oh my god.
And then on the countertop, where we were like, it was just like, it was giving me vibes, the beers that you brought, of like dancing on the countertop. And then that bush just ended up perfectly landing.
So funny.
There was already countertop decorations that I didn't move out of the way. We just moved around them. And then in the end, it ended up being this like bush decoration, like perfectly placed.
It was like a bush in
and
the
I was
bush.
like, funny how that's what you do.
How the Bushmaster.
The Bushmaster.
It's fantastic. Fantastic.
Yes. So yeah, that was a fun one. Very fantastic shoot. And then after that, duo shoot with Sammy?
Yep, that was, yep. So that was, the me and Sammy. And that was that was like, I feel like the like most artistic, soulful intention.
Yeah.
Like, because we were all creating together.
And
like,
it wasn't just a plan.
Yes, it wasn't just about like me and what I wanted. It was like, I want to tell this story. I want to tell this story with this specific person.
Yep. And we were out in a field frolicking.
Yes.
And then in a pond.
And then in a shower.
And then in the shower in the studio.
And then gold foil nude.
Yep, gold foil nude. And then the goddess at the end.
Yes.
And those were so powerful.
Yeah. And I think too, like, it was really special that you, like, it couldn't just be anyone capturing that. Like, it really did have to be you, because Sammy brought me to you. And then we have all these, like, I don't even know, like, I just know all these people that, like, were just in this little web, you know? And how? I don't remember who came from where or what or when.
It is.
And I love that.
Really powerful that way. Like Shelby. And like,
I love you, Shelby.
and like Paige was a brand ambassador, and then Shelby, and then you, and like we've all known each other before me.
Yeah.
I didn't, but you all knew each other before me somehow. But we all ended up coming together in
this
one way.
Happy web.
I know.
Of, good bitches.
And then what was the last session?
So we did the duo shoot.
Yep.
And then we did, was it the Santa? Yes. Okay. Yep. Oh, that one was so fun.
So spicy. I think that was your bubbly, that was your like wild self. It was very fierce too at the same time.
Well, it's kind of like, I could do this. I have the time. Let's do it. I want to do it. And I think I came to that one. That was when I came to the show with like, this is what I want to do. I want it to be bad. I want it to be sexy. I want it to be pornographic. I want it to be a completely different thing.
Yeah.
Like that is, I think, where that was, of all of the times we worked together, like that was like really embracing the like sexiness.
Yes.
Because boudoir can be so many things.
Yes.
Like, it can be absolutely whatever you want, but that was the first time I had really wanted it to be sexy, and it fucking was.
Yes.
My ass. Tonya. Like, even the preview, I was like,
yes.
I do me. It was like, I'm like, you could tell I've been running. Look how juicy that booty
We
looks.
talked
and
so
all the
much
things.
about your butt that day. We talked I was like, dang, whoa. It was so much fun.
Yeah, and I felt, because you can always tell those like little differences in your own face.
Yes.
And I was like, she was feeling it.
Yes.
And the fast pace of that too was like, didn't know that would be what I would want from the experience, but I'm so glad I've had that experience, because in the future, whether it's like set up as a mini again, like that's the pace I want.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
You want to go hard and fast every time?
Do this.
Yeah.
Because for me, it gave me no opportunity to second guess. I was just like, yes, ma'am. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef.
You know?
And you mentioned that too, like in the mini sessions, that the theme was there. So you just you already knew what you were supposed to do. You just had to make it yours.
Yes.
And that was it.
And it's going to be mine because I'm doing it.
Yes.
So it's like having that reference point, I guess, made me feel like maybe it almost gives me a sense of distance, so that I can bring more of myself to it. It's like it takes your brain out of the picture and lets your like soul, your deep self kind of come through a little bit more, because your little like monkey brain isn't like, well, how's that looking? How's the face? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Shut up, brain. Just fucking be there.
Yes.
Like, just fucking be there. Which, like, okay, one thing I like super remember, because I was nervous about what my face was going to do at the first one. And like, the first time you said, connect, I was like, oh my God. Yes, ma'am. It was like, it was like the gentleness, but the intensity and the expectation and all the thing. Like, it was just, I was like, damn, like, she's done this before. Holy shit, you know? And I was like, and it made it so easy for me, because that was my first time working with you. And I was like, these are the things you don't know to ask for, like ask about, like, you know, things that you could ask about. Like,
I got tingles.
Like, tell me how you're going to direct my face. And everyone's going to answer that differently. But, you know, it could be as simple as like hey, I'm just going to have you read this testimonial, because like, this is what it was like for them. I can't tell you what it's like for you, but I can tell you how it was received.
Right.
So, yeah, I don't know. I was like, shit, dog. Yes, ma'am.
You know what's
and my face looked good. I didn't look dumb.
It looks so good. And you know what's sticking out to me right now? Your Christmas mini session where you were like, I want it to be the most like pornographic, right? You weren't nude.
No, I was the most clothed I've ever been.
Yes. Yeah, like you were nude in the creative, like with the shower scene. You were with the gold foil scene. But you felt the most sexy, and you dove into this like vibe. But you weren't nude at all. But you felt different, because that was the goal and that was a vision you had for yourself, and we just brought that to the table.
Yeah,
like,
and I think in that way, it's one of those things that, in some ways, kind of like we were talking about earlier, what you choose to wear can be so powerful, but it can also be not so serious.
Yes.
And the way that you communicate about what the person wants leaves space for what needs to come out.
And how you move during the session, like how we move you during the session, like the way that you connected with yourself during the session. Like when we're doing an artistic gold foil nude in the black backdrop, that is, it has a sexual element to it, if that's the way you look at it, or it's just artistic and powerful. But the way we moved when we did the Santa minis were more closed, but we moved more spicy and more sexy too. So that's really, it's just, there's so many elements to, and I talk about that often in sessions of like, sometimes the white sheet covering everything is so sexy compared to just being straight up nude.
Right.
And it doesn't take away from you as a person if you want to be nude. It's what we do. Sometimes the element of surprise or how we've draped it. There's so many things, so many different elements to play with as we do the session.
Well, and I think that especially with my job, I have exposure to almost exclusively nude bodies doing Brazilian waxing, right? And so for me, the energy of nudity is not innately sexual or sensual.
Right.
It is our natural state.
Yes.
And in that way, like what we drape over it is our attempt to tell a story.
Yes.
Whether it's a protective story or whether it's a come get me story or whether it's a like, I fucking love myself, you know, like whatever it is for you. And so, yeah, I just have this like, I think it's really great that people can come visit and try on certain things and get a feel, because I don't think a lot of us, I mean, like, I have a very small lingerie department in my closet. Right. But I don't think most of us keep a ton of that stuff, typically past a certain age, and not because like I'm expired or anything, but it's just like not so front of mind as it like maybe was in our 20s, right? And so getting to maybe try something on you've never tried on, or something that your ex didn't like, or whatever, like that's really nice before you know, pull a trigger, so to speak, and then we start.
You get to plan it and play with it and feel what feels good and try something new.
Yeah, because sometimes what you think you want, once you put it on, you're like, I'm not ready for this, you know. But then you put something else on and you're like, I am ready for this. Like that like Snow White cape that Malia wore.
Yes.
Right? Like, you know, like that could just be the thing that gives you like,
oh yeah,
the thing.
It has been, I think I can think of two people who have, it's not for everyone, but the people that it's for, it's like when they put it on, they feel something. Just like the new champagne robe. The people that put it on, they see it, they know they want to put it on, and they feel powerful. Because we've all wanted to be an ice princess.
Right.
Or we've all wanted to be in a flowing gown.
Right.
And then there's those who have always wanted to feel really great naked. So like, it's really, really fun. So what do you feel like from your first session to your last session was
The rain room.
The rain room, which we didn't even talk about yet. Golly, that was the best. Let me tell you, I messaged Sarah and I was like, I want to build a rain room. And she's... I already, in my head, I have this vision for it, right? Like flash dance, like arms in a chair, legs going up, like rain falling down. And I was like, I got this idea for a rain room. And she's like, so am I coming home and I need to be cleaned? Am I coming home from a long day of work and I need to be cleaned? And then you brought another naughty scenario. And I was like, forget my idea. You brought me just like
Hose me down.
You just threw like two just wild ideas at me, and I was like, all of it.
Why
so
choose when you can have it all?
Yes, but you came, you helped me set it up, and they were incredible.
That was so fun.
It was 90 degrees. 95.
It was perfect for me. I was fine. She's soaking wet.
Oh my gosh, that was so good.
It was really good.
But that was the last one. So what do you think how do you feel as an individual from your first session to your last session? How do you feel like anything? What comes to mind when I even ask you that question?
Yeah, so the immediate the immediate response is not going to sound awesome, but I think if I explain it, it will. I feel less. I feel less attached to my physical body and what it's looking like and what it's presenting and all of the things. I feel less preoccupied with like, I am just a little bit bloated and I shouldn't have worn these pants, you know, like I would never choose to wear those pants now, right? Like it's all those like little micro judgments I feel like are so much less, mostly because I've been able to see kind of every nook and cranny in different levels of fitness and physical wellness and and all of the things. And it's great because I enjoy the presentation of myself more.
Right.
And some of the pressure is off because I've been able to see through your eyes probably what other people see in me, but also like what is in here. Because in some ways, I don't know, like, I think I'm cute now. Like, and it's not that I thought I was hideous before, but I know we've talked about this in the past, but I definitely didn't self-identify as feminine. I just felt like 12-year-old boy, like, just like kind of like not very remarkable, I guess. And now I'm like, I am a lady and I am a cute lady.
Yeah.
And I can say that not because self-love, self-worth, because it's fucking true.
Yeah.
Like objectively it's true. And there's definitely something to portraiture that helps you be like, oh yes, that is me. Okay, I accept it. If the professional says this is me, I accept it. It's a good judgment.
Yeah, and you're not like trying to convince yourself. You saw it. You felt it. Because you got to feel it that day,
I have receipts.
Yes.
I have receipts. So if I'm feeling like, for whatever reason, I have so many beautiful, and I love that each of my portfolios are different.
Yes.
Like I've got my little one, and then I got my little viewfinder, and then I have my book, and then I have my like larger images, and it's so like anytime I need to revisit, and because of the different things we've done, I can revisit very specific things and kind of like channel what I need to channel.
Right.
And I am surprised how often I do look back, and sometimes I'll think of a particular image and be like, just look at her and then be her today. And then you do.
Oh, I love that.
It's such a
She's like, I've been her before, so I know what she felt like.
She's in here. We just
Yes.
gotta, like, you know, part the curtains and find her.
I love that. Oh, you melt me.
I didn't cry my dick off this time. I got the words out.
Yes,
Thank you very much.
1 second, I'm gonna move this just because I can see the clouds like taking the sun. So I'm just gonna move. We're not perfect here. We're perfectly imperfect.
Which is fine.
I love that.
We're doing
okay.
good.
So do you remember how you heard about B&B?
It was Sammy.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because she had done, I think she had just done her first shoot with you. Or maybe she was about to do the snake shoot or something.
Oh yes, the snake shoot. I remember that. I'm gonna double check one more thing. Beautiful. Snake shoot.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
And that's when I had heard about you, and then I don't think it was super long after I started thinking about it that I booked it and did it.
It couldn't have been. For some reason, I want to say that the snake shoot was like February 2019. But I could be wrong.
Maybe it was.
Because I mean, that's same year.
I know I had seen, because like the image that comes to mind is the like red baby doll Sammy photos, all of those. It's like a sheer red situation. I don't.
Yes. She didn't wear that one, did she?
That wasn't for the snake shoot. That was before. But
Yes.
like that's the first image I think of when I like think of like, when did I come across beauty marks?
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
All of that back there, it blurs so much. Unless something significantly bad happens, all the good blurs together. The bad's like, September 20th. Like you get a date and a time. That was just a random one. I don't really know what
That's
happened.
so true, because I distinctly remember the few days in August while Evan was deployed that I had not heard from him. I did not know if he was alive.
Yeah.
And then I got a dog.
You're like, well, if I can't have him, I will have a fur baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, those bad dates too. But yeah, all the good stuff. And honestly, my shoots in my mind all kind of like glom together in one experience. And like as our relationship has developed over the years,
Yes.
it feels like, even though it's only been relatively recent that we've been closer, it feels like we've been like this forever to me. But I think that's partly because like I think we're both just like, here's my dick, it's on the table type of people. So like, if you don't like me, I'll know. You know what I mean?
It's okay.
And that's okay.
Yes, it's
and then we
okay.
just won't continue to like whatever. But,
we've also
you know.
like had one lunch together. We got together, had the best conversations.
Yes. Oh my God, at Pounds, yeah.
The best chats. And then somehow didn't do it again.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I had no feelings about it.
No.
Actually, I think we connected. We're like, let's do that again soon. And then it was like a year or more, maybe even 2 later.
Yeah.
Because life just...
And that's okay. And
Yes.
like, I guess that's one thing I absolutely love too, just about you as a person, is that like, I just had an experience recently where someone was sharing something that kind of shocked me because it's not how I view the world, but they were talking about how like your friends should be your friend, and that archetype is like a copy of every single person you're a friend with. And first of all, the English language doesn't have really great structure for different types of relationships, but I thought, oh my gosh, that is so different from me, because I have so many different types of friends that fulfill me in different ways. And whether it be because of life or because of whatever, like, I think it's great that I don't have kind of almost the pressure of having like a husband type relationship with every single friend, because and maybe it's just a personality thing, but it's like I trust the women in my life if they're in a crisis to come to me.
Right.
If they need something, I trust that when they need space, they will take space. I trust that when they want closeness, they'll seek closeness.
Right.
And I used to have quite a few people that I felt like I was kind of like putting a lot of like mental Olympics into like, am I a good friend? Am I bad? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then it's like, it's not that serious. And like, it's just so great to be able to trust. And like, that's like us interpersonally, but I think that applies also to like when we're in session, right? Like I do implicitly have this trust that like, if something is not right, you will tell me and you'll fix it for me, right?
Yes.
And that's just like such a win. It's a win in knowing that you're going to get a good product outcome,
right?
Like as a consumer, but it's like also a win in friendship because, yeah, it's the trust of and like it's all okay.
Yes, and relationships, I believe the same way. I think when I was younger, I thought if all my relationships weren't as big love as the one I had, then they couldn't possibly be, right? Mm-hmm. But like you said, you're giving all this. Imagine if you had to have this big heartfelt conversation with one person, right? That's it. That's all I had. Mm-hmm. I had that one energy for that big heartfelt conversation, and I gave it to the person who I felt like I could have maybe got the most back, like the best exchange.
Right.
Now, if I would have gave it over here and gave all my energy to somebody who doesn't even kind of care or even maybe have the spoons in that area,
right?
I wasted it. Mm-hmm. And now if I went back to the person over here who would have been the fit for that conversation, I only have like a fourth of what I could have given.
Exactly.
So I could never expect the same conversations back from each and every friend. Mm-hmm. And it is really beautiful, but at first I never understood that it's okay
because we're not taught that
to have these different levels. Mm-hmm. But it's like you said, and the same thing in clients that like every person comes with different needs, different wants, I have people who show up and are like, "You're the expert. Do things." Mm-hmm. They don't want to build a mood board, but they love my work.
Right.
So I just scroll through my work real quick and I'm like, okay, this is the general mood that they must have got when they flipped through here real quick. Mm-hmm. And I'll pick the ones that are popping out and be like, okay, well, here's my general flow, and I'll base it off the 3 outfits that we talk about. And this is what I love to do in a bodysuit. Can you at least tell me which 2 pieces of furniture you love the most? No?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. All right. I'll pick
Dealer's
them too
choice.
then.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So there's that. And then there's people who come with a whole plan in their mind. And I love that too. And I get to tap into that as much. But you have to treat the clients just like your friends too. Like they come in all different.
Exactly.
All different. And I love that. But like your friend.
Yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh.
We friend different too.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
It's good to know that about you. Because now I know that I will probably never, ever meet that person's needs. And that's okay.
That's okay. But if you've had that amazing conversation about here's why I might not be able to do that for you. What a beautiful connection.
Or recognizing I don't have the desire to do that.
Yes.
It's kind of like that marketing thing I was talking about where it's like, you know what? It's not about getting everybody to say yes. It's about giving enough information so that people who are a yes will immediately know rather than have to seek more information to determine that.
Loving the people who love. Life is so short after work, super, 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 super hard.
I mean, you know.
And then you have a few that you're willing to really work really hard for.
Yeah. And like there's different types of labor that we do, right?
Yes.
Like I just feel like my job physically is a lot.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because someone yesterday was like, oh, but you just hear from people all day. Oh, I was kind of apologizing for sharing. And I was like, oh, that is so interesting. I need to remember that may be the perspective that some people are taking, because though for other people, being on your feet all day, sweating in a small room, talking to people, all of the things, like people being really vulnerable because their pants are off, right? Like they're sharing, like people tell me and you and their massage therapist probably more than they tell most people, maybe their hairdresser, right?
Yeah.
Because you already are like, oh, she's seen The Secret Garden. She knows everything already. No point in lying now.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that remembering that some people, because everyone's different, may feel like they're burdening us with a lot of emotion or a lot of like something. And I don't feel that way.
No.
Like I don't feel burdened at all because I have the privilege to be selective of who I work with.
Yes.
Right? And I think that sharing after sessions is great, because if someone's watching and they're like, I didn't like any of those girls. Okay. You know, but if they're like, oh my God, all these girls, I want them to be my best friend, blah, 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 then it's like, do it then.
Right.
You know, like it's like you will, like, I feel like you have this great quality where you can, whether someone thinks they are there or not, you just pull it out of them too.
And I want to. You know, like you said, like,
because you're safe, because you're not,
this is the space I've created for you. This is your session day. This is your consultation. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up? What are you doing this session for? I want you to tell me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's on your heart and what you want to pull out of your session. If it's just to come in and just wham, bam, get it done. I'm doing it because I feel like I should, or I'm gifting it. Or there are some people who just do it for a gift, and that's okay. There's other people who are diving in and are just dying to connect with themselves in a way. And that's going to take great conversations and connections. And I'm here for it, unapologetically, like all the things.
Well, and it's so much more than just like, how do you want to look? How do you want to feel? It's, what are you trying to get long term?
Yeah.
And let's also maybe talk about what are the other steps that you can take to help get you there. Right? Yeah. Because it's not, you know, just get that Brazilian wax, you'll feel like a goddess, right? Like that's a thing, right? But also it's like, okay, if I am gathering from you that you're getting this wax to make it spicy for someone, I might ask the question, like, do you think your partner would find it spicy if you were getting more pleasure in the first place from your sexual encounters? You know, there's a whole other conversation going on because we have the like surface, like, Tonya, make me like this, or you're the expert, but then there's like that like deeper want of like, why do we want to be spicy with the partner? Because we want to feel connected, right? And it's kind of the same with the session, where like each of the different vibes that I've vibed over the years, like all of those things do live within me, and like at those different times, that's what I wanted or needed to connect with. And what's cool is that like as time has gone on, they be getting more powerful. You know, they're getting a little bit more, I am here, let me out.
You're giving these space to these parts.
Or here I am, I'm always here.
And you don't have to open and leash them anymore. They're just staying longer each time. Oh, I love that for you.
I love that for me.
Yes. What do you feel like? Did you have a surprise? Did you ever feel like surprised afterward, or now even looking back? Did anything surprise you about your session, or how you felt, or what happened? Or
the first reveal for sure, I think I was like, oh, those times I've been told that I'm cute, they weren't lying. You know, which seems so silly, but like coming from a place of not having really a lot of feminine empowerment, not being super like kosher with my body, not being super kosher with like myself as a person at that time, like just like being like in a lot of shame. There was something about like, I could not deny that I was pretty. I couldn't. And that was like, oh, and that was, I believe, like pre-edits and stuff too.
Yeah, probably. Because I haven't been editing in a reveal for a long time.
And that, I think too, is the option to choose to what degree things are smoothed out or not, and what pieces of you want to keep and what pieces of you want to just like wink at, you know?
Yes.
I think that's really powerful too, because at different stages of my life, I want different things. You know? Which, hide my pimples, make my teeth a little whiter. That's it.
And
otherwise we're good.
I do a light skin soften. Most people don't even notice because the camera brings out more reality than even reality. So I'm always like, take those pores down a notch. We don't even know there's that many here. Yes, I love that.
Yeah, that first reveal, man. Yeah, that was just like, oh shit, me? That's a me? Wow.
When you think about your next session, do you have anything in your mind? Do you have, what's in your heart?
Kink.
Do ya? Like what?
Yeah, like.
Can you say like?
Yeah, like shiny okay. So when I get this other foot done too. I
got some healing to do.
Very excited to go on more. I had started a little bit of a strength training journey just for my own like personal power reasons. So there's not like a visual aesthetic, but there will be a time that once I get back into the gym and I can like feel when I feel strong, like I want shiny patent leather, like red. I want like black and like strappy. I want like pornographic. Like I like think like a Lady Gaga music video type of thing. Like I want like something, just like fun and playful and almost like a caricature, because in my mind that feels like this is where I am now. You know?
Yes.
It's not about the aesthetic itself. It's about, for me, that symbolizes something around like, it could be wild and it could be kooky, and it can be sexy.
Yes.
And like, this is nothing to me. I can look like this, be like this, pose like this, express like this, and like, and there's more than that.
Yes.
That's what the feeling is on the inside, is that there's more than that, and I can feel and do and be that also with not a stitch, you know?
Yeah.
So
next time it's going to be powerful.
Lighting. I think some like fun, like, you know, like disco, maybe not disco vibe, but you know, like dark, edgy,
like spotlighty kind of.
Maybe, yeah. Or maybe we're thinking like, dark. I don't know. Maybe we're thinking more. See, now as I'm thinking it through, I'm like, but I also see like Berlin Club. I also see like,
I was just thinking like
cement and
black
like,
wall and like lights from behind with like the leather or the strappy look that you have going on, and like backlit or something fierce like that. Oh gosh. Okay. Oh gosh. This is going to be a good time. I'm so excited. Because, I mean, we literally talked about almost all the things we did during your sessions. One of them sticks out to me. Do you have anything that you want to talk about? Because I know you had a plan. You had a little mold. You had a little thing. Some stuff that was on your heart.
So the thing, like thinking about what would be useful to share.
Yeah.
One of the thing that I do is remove hair from intimate places. And like, if there's one element of your experience that can be sort of smoothed over, like that fear of like, is my crotch normal? Does my crotch smell normal? Like, is my crotch hairy? Like, what do I shave? Do I wax? What do I do? Blah, blah, blah. All the genital shame. I'm absolutely not encouraging anyone that they should wax or that they should remove any hair.
Yeah.
But I do encourage that if you are feeling some kind of way about that specific issue, that they should talk to you about it. Yeah. Because I think that you can help them get to the heart of what the insecurity is, and then take an action to help motivate that. Because like, gosh, I mean, even things like, oh, what if I sweat and then it sweats through the underwear because I'm nervous and I'm just a sweaty person and whatever. Like those are fears that come up, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so like just talking about it, like what happens if I do sweat through, and like, you know, things like that, so that you can kind of coach them through, hey, these are normal questions to ask. What other time in your life has there been this area specifically showcased? Probably never. Right. Unless you did birth pictures, you know what I mean? And then that's a whole different thing. And hopefully it wasn't like that part, you know what I mean? Like that, hopefully it was the whole process, you know? So yeah, that, like, I just speak it. Like, I just really encourage people to just speak it, because, we all have a crotch. There is a reason that I have a job. We all have a crotch. Yes.
And you
sorry, go ahead.
You get to be like, and I think that's part of it. So I've had that come up a few times, like, should I wax? Or should I shave? Do you normally? Is that how
you live your life?
How do you want to show up? This is I love that you brought up the sweat part, and I love that too, because I mean, there has been a couple times where we are nervous. Yes. There's a little bit of extra sweat, and maybe it showed on a sheet after sitting in a squatting down pose or something. And I know in that moment, I'm either not going to address it. If they addressed it, I'm going to say, oh, that's normal. Not a big thing. I wash the sheets after every session anyways. Don't worry about it. And
sweat.
Or it's hot in here. it's going to happen. Like it is such a normal situation, especially in the photograph room, because the big bay windows are blasting sunlight in there. So if one, we're already sweaty individuals, like it's natural. Two, I tell you, please don't put deodorant on. I don't want to edit deodorant balls. I'd rather you be stinky and we just smell up this whole place than to edit. And so that's a conversation I also have. It's okay if you have a little bit of body odor during your session. I don't want to retouch streaks of white off your clothes, off your body. But the sweat thing, I feel like maybe that's something I could just talk a little bit more into, just a small little excerpt of like when I'm talking about the shaving part. Because I talk a lot about the prep, not during the session day, because you don't want to have all those conversations on that day. You want to have all those conversations during the wardrobe fitting. Like in and out of like, I always say, let's get ready, depending on who my guest is, obviously, I try to be mindful of that, but like, let's get ready or do the wardrobe fitting like girlfriends, I always say, like depending on my guest. And you try it on, come out, show me what the outfit is. And I think that's a really great time to talk about if you're going to shave, if you're not going to shave. If you don't wax, don't go beat yourself up just to do it, unless that's really what you want to do.
Unless that's your power move and you're like, I've always wanted to, but I've been scared.
Not because it's the beauty standard. Because the beauty standard is what you want it to be. Your beauty standard is you.
Yes.
If you want to be natural, I highly encourage being natural.
The body waxer is telling you only do what feels right for you.
Absolutely.
Like there is very little that gives me an ick at work. The only thing that gives me an ick is when I can tell that despite my best efforts, I've not moved the needle. All I want to do is, I don't want to fix your life. I don't want to change everything with one wax, but I do want to move the needle just a little bit every time I see someone. And if that means that I'm telling you, you're saying you want a Brazilian wax, but I'm also noticing that you're feeling really anxious. How would it feel if I just start you with a bikini? We'll include the backside so you get all the best parts.
Truly
and then
the best
you can think about it. And if you want to do a Brazilian next time, you can. But I'm not here to make everyone be a Sphinx bald kitty meow meow. You know what I mean? Like there's so many, like, go be a ragdoll. They're cute too. It's just not that serious. It's not that serious. So
do what's comfortable for you. Do what you want to do, and don't do it only because it may be the expectation of the world. Only do it if you want to. I have been like so excited, and I genuinely mean this, like so excited when and it's only been a couple. I've only had a couple guests who have been just natural. And I'm like, yes, I'm so, and it's not, now I'm not knocking down the people who aren't natural, but these people just are comfortable with themselves and are embracing that's what they want to do. And that's what I love about it. The fact that not that they want to and they're not, they're just doing it. And I love that. I love that it's becoming a little bit more over time. And because there's more people who want to. There's so many more people who don't want to shave their legs and don't want to do it, but they do it anyways. And she is.
I am very fuzzy right now. And guess what? I'm allowed to be.
Yes, you are.
Doesn't change my worth. Not one little bit. That is an unexpected benefit of body waxing. To be in the waxing cycle, you have to have hair. So eventually you have less hair because it thins out. But also you get so much more comfortable with just being in your body, and it's not that serious.
I did notice.
It's not that serious anymore.
I noticed that too, of like, that gave me a lot of confidence when I was getting waxed, of like, oh, I'm hairy right now. Why? Because I'm in the middle of my waxing cycle. So I'm just not getting waxed until 2 weeks from now or 1 week from now or whatever that looked like. It gave me, one, at first it was an excuse to be okay with being like, just saying like, yeah, I'm gonna get waxed soon, but I'm not right now. So it's okay for me to be hairy. After that first few times though, you just get confident in like, what of it?
Exactly.
You need that crutch for just like a hot minute, but it goes away. And then your confidence comes from that and all of it.
Yeah, the secret of the confidence of the waxing lifestyle is that you're not always waxed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are plenty of people that are like, no, don't tell them that. But like, it is true.
Yeah.
You know, it would be really easy for me to sell, oh, you can wax every 3 weeks and you'll almost never have anything. But like, that doesn't move the needle.
Right.
That keeps you in fear. That keeps you in, I need to do this to be good enough. And that's not the point.
Yeah.
Right?
And
Just
you
like,
can,
you know,
if you want to.
And you can
You're allowed
if you
to.
want to.
Yeah. If you want to be the every 3 to 4 weeks person, fantastic.
And that's fantastic.
If you want to be a sixer and you're okay with a little bit, go right.
Yep. It's moving the needle just a little bit.
Okay, well, I knew we were going to chat for a long time. I knew it, because we always do. And we're getting a little off topic, but you know what I think that is? Taking up some damn space. Taking up some damn space. So her next session is going to be a little wild. It's going to be after some healing and another surgery. I love everything that we've done. I think every time I grow a little bit in another way after working and doing a session, and I get more excitement and I get more like, I get a little bit more confidence every time I get to do a session because I don't want to say allow me, but you're just like, do it. Let's do it. Whatever it is, let's build. And I love that too. And my clients give me that as well. My other clients give me that as well. But there's just this really openness. Even before we started like hanging out, that was, you're like, I'm here for the party.
Collaboration is fun.
It is.
Collaboration is so fun. I will never get anything as good artistically from anything I do by myself as I do with another person. Even and sometimes especially when that person is like, I love you. That ain't it. You know, like that's okay.
But you also bring like for the rain room, you're like, so I'm coming home and I'm naughty and I'm gonna need to get clean. And I'm like, it's not the idea that I had, but I love it. And now we're gonna mash them up a little bit, like. And then you're like,
that's how you can tell I haven't watched a lot of porn. Like that's as far as I got. I was like, well, shit.
I love it. Do you have any advice as we wrap this up that you would give, aside from what we just gave, which was
genitals
being okay,
genitals,
yeah, with a little body sweat and a little body odor and a little body hair? What would you say to somebody who was thinking about a session who hadn't quite done it yet?
If the hesitation has to do with will I feel safe or not, I just encourage you to message you. I encourage you to message Tonya and just talk because she's not going to try to sell you on anything.
Yeah.
She's just going to ask you about you.
Yeah.
Share with you about her, and she'll help you decide whether a session or whether she's the right fit. So like, don't feel nervous that if you reach out, now that's like locking you into something, because it's not. You're totally safe. You're totally safe to ask all the questions. Yeah.
And do that. Ask all the questions. Like, you're welcome to ask all the questions about money, but I feel like money's only one part of it. There's so many more questions. And once we start we'll chat, and you can do it on the phone. You can call and send me a message. We'll set up a phone call. The random phone calls never work out. It's like a landline over here. But set that phone call up or send a message, and you can come into the studio, do a tour, and we'll sit down right here and talk about it. What your vision is, what your dream is. And all my booking's done online, and that's why you'll never feel sold. I still want you to go book online and pick your date that feels the best to you. Do your schedule, compare your dates. So we're going to connect together, but you'll be able to book when you're ready.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. What are some some thoughts, ideas you've always wanted to play with, but haven't yet, that you want to do? Like, what's on your bucket list of like crazy stuff?
Okay. I want to photograph couples and a solo session inside an airplane hangar with fabric hanging down, blowing in the wind, like
I'm getting like Oasis desert vibes type of thing, or like, say more.
Well, it's going to be inside of the building kind of, but the doors can be open. So I would say around here probably, but if it was somewhere else, I would do it too. But yeah, whatever, doors open to this hanger. Maybe an older plane in there, but I'll take any plane, honestly.
Okay, okay.
But airplane hanger, sheets coming down, or some sort of fabric, or even plastic sheets, whatever it is, like just sheets that blow in the wind. Couple session. That's one. Another one that I really want to do, which is coming up this year, because this year my focus this year is doing what I want to do. Because I just talk about it better. I have more excitement for it. Instead of doing what I think is going to sell, that's the wrong approach for it entirely. Like, here's what I want to photograph. Here's what sounds so beautiful. And the people that also want to be photographed that way are just going to come.
Yeah.
So
they'll be like, that thing I thought of.
Yes.
She did it. Yeah. So I can do it.
Yes. So
I'm done.
4-poster bed, or 4-post bed, valance sheets hanging down out in a field or by a field, next to a field, trees, etc. And that one's in the works right now.
Ooh.
Yes. So
That's
those
exciting.
are 2 things that I really, really want to do. A third one that I want to do is kind of like what you mentioned with yours. It's kind of got those music video vibes to it, but it has to do with fabric wrapped on each side of the body, and some like stage lighting, very artistic, and then movement and sound. Whether nobody's going to see the movement and sound, but the sound is for me.
You know who I think of hearing that immediately is Andrea Olsen.
Oh, yeah.
Every time I see photos of her, I'm like,
I know.
you slay. My God.
Every time.
Oh my God.
Every time.
I'm like, woman, Jesus.
The Audrey minis. Excuse me. So beautiful. So yeah, those are just a couple of my visions. Like, I mean, I have a lot of ideas bubbling around in there, but those ones are sticking out the most. So I need an airplane hanger. I need a really sexy kitchen too. I need a kitchen with some natural light, because I got an idea for that too. Those are my visions.
I'm gonna ask you another question.
Okay.
Is there one thing
Nobody ever asks
that you
me
wish...
questions?
I have questions.
I live my life of like, I ask people a lot of things and nobody asks me back.
Yeah.
Not into podcasts. So, but like, I feel really seen right now, so thank you.
Oh. Okay, this is kind of more of like a slightly like risky, vulnerable question.
Okay.
But is there one thing that most makes your heart hurt when you see or hear, or it happens in the session, like maybe something someone says about themselves? Like, is there one thing that you hear a lot that like really you just want to delete from the world? Because like, what's a pain point that comes up for you that you wish?
Well, I'm going to start with the first one that comes to mind, but it doesn't happen anymore. But I'm grateful. I used to get messages from women who were bigger than the average. And they would say, do you photograph women like me? And I don't know why, I'm going to cry about it right now, but I used to get that message probably, I didn't expect to even cry about it, but
Gotcha.
you did get me. I got it a couple times, even after I moved into the studio. So after 2020, and I was like, I have to do something about this. Like, I need my portfolio to be more representative and more welcoming and more friendly. And how I had photographed many people, they still weren't sharing. Maybe they weren't comfortable, or whatever their reason was that they decided not to share their images. So that's when I did a creative call, and I was like, I want to celebrate all body types, and I need to do that. Like, I want to photograph some people who want to be shown and who are comfortable with that, because we need to help some people. We need to show some people that they can take up the space in this world, that they deserve it, and they don't need to be asking if they're allowed here. If they're allowed to be naked, if they're allowed to be photographed in lingerie, if they're allowed like to do that. And I don't get asked that anymore. Okay, so that I know I didn't take that away from everybody in the whole world, and I know I haven't taken that feeling away from how they feel other places. But when they come to my portfolio and they look at my work, they don't ask me if I'm willing to photograph them.
Because they already see themselves. Yep.
Because the 100%. Space is welcoming and open. And so that is the big one. That one, that I was like, I have to do something. It is my responsibility to create a space that
no one feels the need to ask the question even. I love that. I love that. Yeah. And that's when I get asked still occasionally, because of course I don't post pictures of my
You're
work.
Not in the industry of necessarily posting
pictures of people's hoo-has.
Though I have seen some impressive like one strip vag strips. I don't know how or why, or if that was just for the gram only, but it was like a
no shame, no hate.
But I wondered if that one was for just like for the gram, like, because that one image just circulated, and I wonder if it was like a dare of like, can we do it? Because it was just you could tell both lab in a little like the whole, and it would be a two-hand ripper.
Yeah.
You would have to just.
You probably had to have buddies down here for the counter pole. And but
I'll never have that. I will never ask you for that. I don't. You would ever do it. Maybe with a big warranty or like a contract.
I won't do it. The risk of bruising, no thank you.
Oh my gosh, imagine.
But I do get asked that question, and my response is always like, do you has crotch? Yeah. And I wax it. Like it's
I like that you're just like, this. It's not even like we're not doing like thank you.
And I don't want to criticize anyone for the question, because it is an important question.
It is an important question.
I've seen some crazy things
and
from other providers that I'm like,
somebody made you feel that way.
There's a reason you're asking, and I respect that. And I also like don't even want to participate in the conversation because it also hurts my heart.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
bring it to me.
Let's just yes.
Yeah.
Give me all the things. It's fine.
Somebody made the feeling there, and I get it.
What else makes you feel in your life? What are other things that aren't boudoir photography that give you that same feeling? Is there anything? What are the microdoses of boudoir photography? Like for you, for Tonya. Like what makes you feel sexy?
Oh, what makes me feel sexy? Okay. Like when I'm being photographed, or like what out in this world makes me feel sexy?
Out in this world.
Physical touch. Dancing.
Yes.
It does so much. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank, because I know. I really, music, but I think that goes with dancing, but just music in general can be so powerful. But honestly, I don't want to say like the presence of people, because I want to say that like sexiness is so much built on other people, but like, because I've spent the last almost 2 years alone, and I've built me, and I haven't felt this sexy in a long time. And maybe my body's in a transition right now. Changed my meds. My body has physically started changing, and I knew that was going to happen. As soon as I came off the meds, my body would get bigger again. Like things are going to keep changing, but I still feel so much sexier because it has nothing really to do with my physical body. But
is it the connection with other people?
That's what I'm trying to get to, is like there's just like a build. There's like a build when people say certain things, or not even necessarily to you, but like they could just be radiating next to you, and you're like, we've got something going on here.
And it's like a chain effect.
Friends are like, my friends feeling good. That makes me feel really good. So I don't know if how I can describe that, because I wouldn't feel any less if they weren't feeling good, but I feel better when they are feeling good.
So you would say then that sexiness is compounding. So maybe you start with a big dose of that boudoir photo shoot, and then you may see, as you roll around, like a little snowball, that you're picking up more snow, and you're finding these little extra, like, ooh.
And do you mean like when I'm
sexy?
When I'm doing a photo shoot?
No, like when you have one done.
Oh, when I did a photo shoot.
When
I'm photographing somebody else.
When a person
Okay.
does a big event like a boudoir photo shoot.
Okay.
Or whatever the big thing was for them, that's their investment in themselves.
Yeah.
It's kind of like this opened it up, like this opened the little bucket up to keep getting more little drops in throughout life.
It just allows like the good feelings.
It's like the container. It like creates the space for now all of these other things that now that you can see with this lens, like, oh, that person was looking at me, you know?
Yes.
And not, and just like noticing. Just noticing. Yeah, you just notice differently.
Yeah.
I feel. Do you think there's going to be any significant changes to like, so like when we think of like visually like classic boudoir, right?
Yep.
Me now today, I don't even have a point of reference for that because my experiences have been so diverse. What would you say now is like the new modern classic of like a boudoir shoot? Is there such a thing?
I think, well, and see, I wouldn't say I spend a lot of time, but I see visually, since I'm in so many different groups, a lot of different types. So there's photographers. I've seen thousands of people's work every single day. So there's photographers that lean a lot more into like a BDSM or all of those kinds of things. I don't know if there's always a trend, just like there's a trend in hairstyles, just like there's a trend in makeup. There's like this new thing that's hot right now and everybody's doing it. And then there's some trends that peak and become like a forever staple. It's like the new flavor that they tried that was seasonal and then it kind of stuck around. So like light and airy is like, it's a forever thing. But it'll peak sometimes, but it's always just kind of there. Some photographers will never shoot that way because moody became a thing, but that also stuck. So that was a huge trend to be shooting shadowy and to shoot that way, but it stuck around. People like adapted that as their style, and that's just the way people shoot. But when it comes down to I've noticed that some less actions or less plans and more feelings, like more of, so there's the traditional, I don't want to say even traditional, but let's say on my lounge, you can go on my website and you can see on the lounge, laying down, arms up or back and around, some of those, like my more traditional posing. But then you can see some of the newer stuff that I've been sharing that has been more relaxed and just capturing the body as it is. So, and I want to find a way to just keep blending those two things together.
So you can do both.
So I can do both. I know that I can do both at all times, but my brain does a thing. Is this what we're doing, or is this what we're doing? Is this what we're doing, or is this what we're doing? And I tend to not be able to transition very well between any of those things unless it was written into the plan mentally, you know? So my goal is to take a little bit of each one and blend them all together. So I do think that I did that really well with one of Sammy's shoots. One of her recent photo shoots, like she's nude on the couch with the yellow blanket. And then she's in the black two-piece PJs on the bed.
Cute.
Where she's laying to the side. And I probably am achieving it more than I think that I am. Because I have such, we do this to ourselves as creatives. We have such a vision for something that if I'm not quite achieving it yet, you know. But now that I think about it more, I'm like, I think I'm doing it more than I think. But
right.
She's laying on the bed, but there's also just playful movement and like body touches where it's not necessarily about how I've placed your body, but more the connection to yourself. The way I've placed your body is just a starting point. And once I start talking to you and we start communicating, you're going to sink into it. And I might ask you to pop your booty back a little bit because we still want that shape. But the rest of it is just going to be the movement and how you connect to yourself. Or when you finally breathe.
Yeah,
and I get that
breathing.
Spot instead of holding the spot. I can take anybody out of the hold anyways, but when you relax into it, or you're moving your hand up and down, and I capture a detail.
That makes me laugh because I'm like, tell me what to do and I would do the thing. Or that's like how I was.
Yeah.
And then now I'm a little bit more, okay, like I can, But that was one thing that Sammy had told me. She was like, I was like, well, because you had the, and she's like, all you need to do is just remember to continue to breathe. Just don't hold your breath.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, it's like you know me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll direct you.
True. And it was true, you know? And I was like, like, you know? And I find that it's so funny because I find that experience of like just like being in life sometimes, and like when I feel like the spotlight is on me, perhaps not in a positive way, like it's like a just breathe, because it does relax everything, and then everything just goes back into like normal functioning when you're holding your breath.
You're thinking with that different part of your brain, that survival part of your brain, instead of the problem-solving part of your brain.
Yeah, or just the like being part of your brain.
Yes.
Like, yeah, so yeah.
It's okay to exist here in the unknown for a minute. But yeah, and I think that's a huge difference for people who have had multiple sessions too, is in the beginning, if I think you're overthinking, or if you want that direction, or if you want to be told what to do, or if you say, if you say to me, I don't know what to do with my face, I already know that you're going to try to control your face the whole photo shoot.
Yep.
And I now will be talking to you the whole time, And I'll say, don't worry about it. Don't overthink it, because if you overthink it, you're going to do these weird things with your face. So just trust me now that I'm going to guide you through. You don't even have to ask me. Don't ask me again what to do next. I promise you. And I say it in a very, very lighthearted way, very comforting way of like, I got you now. Don't think about it. And then I talk. Look up, look over, look down, open your mouth. And then you're so worried about like keeping your mouth relaxed and breathing and doing exactly what I've asked you that you're now not worried about.
You're just in your body
Yes,
again.
you're experiencing what I've asked of you, not does my face look dumb? Does this look this way? Should I be...
Am I sexy now?
Yes. What do I do? Because you're trusting that I've just told you everything to do. But after session 2, 3, you're like, I already know all of those things, and those are just part of it now that you really get to just be. And I've grown since session 1, 2, and 3, you know? So I've evolved and I've changed, and how I do things has been... A lot of things are the same because it's the foundation of who I am. But then also like, now we've done this. I always have to, like, when I photograph somebody multiple times, I'm like, what are we doing different this time? What do I not do that I've already done? But at the same time, we've evolved. We're not the same people we were in the beginning. So even if we hit the same mark once or twice.
I just feel like so inspired. Like we need to do like 15 minutes and just be like, first session vibes. Third session vibes, sixth session vibes, and just like show that progression for people. Because like for example, like right now, if it was like, hello, this is my first time and I'm very nervous but also excited. Am I cute? And then all the things that you would do to like eventually get me to like here, right?
Yeah.
And then like the next session is like, okay, we're starting from here, but like now like maybe I'm overthinking like this and whatever, and like it's a different interaction to get you to like here.
Well, let's think about your first session. So your first session was in the studio. You said you were driving to the studio in a storm.
It was
your
terrible.
Nerves were wild and crazy.
I broke them all.
By the time you got there,
I had no fear left.
Okay.
And all I could think about was like, don't let my face look dumb.
Yeah.
So I love that because that's I'm like, don't let my face look dumb.
And then you wore a beautiful sheer red gown. And what else?
That was at the end. We did the pink and blue nightie baby doll at the beginning. I had a sweater, and then I had the
pasties and heels.
Yep.
The high waist panties
with
their beige and black, right? Beige and black.
Yep.
And it's
dragons on the butt.
It's one of the prints in my office.
You know.
Love it. Okay, I forgot. We did all of that in one session.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and the red one was just like a quick at the end with the phone, and those were so good.
So
good.
Okay. Oh my gosh. So how did you feel that session?
I mean, the experience was fantastic. The getting to see like those little quick like, oh, here, let me like, here's your receipts, you know, you can see like, I promise you look cute already. So like, just keep going, you know?
Yes.
It was, I think like longer than I thought it was going to be too. Like I was just like, whew,
I probably
She
went
worked me.
overtime. I have a huge thing. I used to go overtime a lot. And then it took me a long time to realize that not only was that a disservice to me, but it was a disservice to other people. They might have had plans for the rest of their day. They might have get super exhausted. Not everybody had that extra time to build into their schedule. So it took me years to this, and time blindness is huge for me. Like, I'm very time blind. So I had to set alarms on my, it is not for you, like, you only paid an hour and a half. No, there's a lot of reasons why I have to stick to that schedule. I have kids to pick up at the end of the day. You have a massage to go to or lunch to go to. I still want to show you your images. But also, you might have made plans around a time frame that I gave you, and I need to respect that. Like,
well, and it wasn't long in a bad way. It's,
right.
I think in my mind, like, that like, oh, I invested and is it going to be like, it's just going to be over so fast, and it was a blur, and it wasn't. Like, I mean, like, I, like, if I'm, like, really thinking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I can remember kind of transitioning from, like, you know, the bed photos to, like, moving over to the shades to, like, you know what I mean?
It wasn't an in and out experience.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
But I also know I used to go overtime quite a bit. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I try to stick to that
Time
now.
flies when you're having fun.
It does.
You know?
And I also would do a little bit of this, like, thing of, like, make sure I get the shot, shoot over. And I was like, no, you're getting the shot. Stop. Get confident. Get confident. Because you're getting the shot every time. Now you're just, like, dragging it out for no reason. So I had little insecurities as a business owner that I had to work through in the beginning of, like, just overshooting a little bit because I was so worried that I would make a mistake. When
And you want to have extras just in case.
Yeah, and I didn't need it ever. I didn't need that. I know how to shoot a startup image, and if I wasn't, I would only have to make a few mistakes to fix it. So if I would allow myself to make the mistake, I would be better. So I was also not allowing myself to make the mistake.
I totally relate to that. Yeah. I've just had the experience recently where I added a completely new service to my repertoire that I've been doing the same thing for almost a decade, and then adding something new last year was like, but rather than, like, kind of pussyfooting around my own success, I decided I'm going to do it, and I'm going to put the burden of the cost and all of the things back on the business and, like, back on the consumer, and that's going to encourage me to grow more and more quickly than it would if I was just, like, playing it safe and super discounting as I learn and all the things.
Right,
you know?
right, yeah.
And it's, you know, we're never perfect, right? We're always learning things, but, like, seeing how quickly I grew in not only confidence but also execution of that particular service compared to everything else, like the slow development over time, like, the risk has to be there. There's a risk for us as a provider of a service as well, you know? And
it's not that, and I think that we also think it's not that we're not new to this experience. We're not new to life at all. It's just a new service that we're offering.
Yes.
But since it's new, we feel like we got to do this thing.
And it's got to be a decade level of experience good when, like, now I wouldn't even say it's like I have a decade of experience doing this and only a year doing that. It's like, no, it's just different types and different depths of experience. And in a short period of time, the depth of that other experience I've gained because I risked more for it.
Right.
But your brain just retains, you know?
You wouldn't be able to do that thing as good if you didn't have all the knowledge of all the other areas that you have.
Like, foundational mastery is absolutely crucial.
Yes.
Absolutely
so you're not going into that experience or new service with zero knowledge.
No.
Because that would be crazy. But what you are doing...
That would be like, hey...
I've never waxed a butthole before,
Can I take your picture? In the train station. Want to see my sundial? You know what I mean? Like, it just, like, no. So it is different.
I love it. Okay, so your vibes for your second session, which was that white button-up shirt. Was it jeans with it? Sushi, fun, birthday vibes, but also kind of busy business cash. How did you feel that one?
That I felt like that was very much like Sara and Tonya just sitting around, like, having lunch, picking some ants off my sushi. Okay. Like,
yes.
And, like, just, like, goofing, like, okay, some of, like, the eating of the sushi pictures, I was literally being so stupid and ridiculous, and, like, somehow you made it sexy. Like, Because I like distinctly remember you being like, no, more tongue, or like something like that, and I was like, and like
I probably was like slower or like something, I don't know.
And I was like, I'm a child, I can't, I won't. You can trick me into it, but you can't, like, my brain will like not let me. And you like, you made it happen, right?
I love it.
You mind ninja'd me, you Jedi mind tricked me into like doing the thing. So yeah, weird.
It's so much fun.
It's weird, but it's good. I love it.
And then we had the branch off of that, which was the Airbnb. Which we kind of talked about that one already. You wore 2-piece, but
yeah, it was like a vintage nightgown and then kind of a vintage inspired flowy pink robe lace situation with it.
Yeah, and then you also wore just a 2-piece.
Oh, that's
for
right,
too.
that's right. Yeah, it was like a...
It's like it's the little banana.
Nude, yeah, it was a nude bottom and like a white lacy sheer top, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or a nude top bra.
I should have just got the book because it's all there. Like the whole book is that session.
Yeah.
Because yeah, the gown is with the more powerful images, and then I think the ones that stick out to me the most, like in my brain, are the ones of you laying in the bed. Because I just love the detail shots that I captured, and like all of that, and you were just chill, and you were just relaxed, and it was very much. But we did so much that day.
Yeah.
I also, one of my favorite images is the beer and that like open hand, like it's
open
so
legs, the power
powerful.
pose. Yep.
But you're in lingerie, your robe strewn over the edge of the rail, you're on the edge of the bed. It's a whole spread in the album. It needed to be. Like that picture should be a canvas. It just gives wall art vibes. It's so fun, but it's connected though too. Like the whole image is a story all the way to the gown over the edge.
Yes.
Like it tells something. And then we went all the way down the stairs, up the stairs, on the counter, like the whole vibe.
It was fun.
And then
it was so fun.
The next one after that.
Sammy?
Yes.
Sammy.
And we did a run through that one. How were your feelings at the Airbnb one?
Oh, that was,
because that's what we were talking about, feelings, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, that was powerful, playful. I think that I'm trying to remember whether you had shot there or if you were like, I'm shooting here tomorrow or later, so I want to try all these. I think that's what it was, right? Yeah, so that was that element of collaboration again, where it was like, do here, do this, let's just, wait, let's wait for the light to go here, and then, and it was just this fun process. Where
and it was
really
a little, we had a lot of time, but we also were going kind of fast. We were just shuffling through.
Yeah, we've just played. We played. It was fun. It was very fun.
One thing about the photo shoot in the park, I had a lot of nerves that I didn't do a good job during that one.
Really?
Yeah, even in my retouches, I was like, did I nail this? I remember that so much.
Okay. So, didn't talk at all about, there was also because I was in like the blue lacy dress, and then there was the shirt and the jeans, but there was also some where I was in kind of like a little colorful robe, and we sat kind of like, I was sitting on rocks by the river. There were a bunch of like outside, or like by the water, and there were a couple of like outside ones, and there's one where like I'm just like sitting, and I'm just like sitting like chill. And that is one of my favorite images because I feel like that, to me, captures like a connection to like being outside and just being natural. And it was a very, I don't even know if it was like actively posing, but like it just felt like if you needed one image to sum up the proof of like the capacity to be beautiful, the capacity to be striking, is accidental in all of us as well.
Yeah.
And so even without a pose, like seeing that, like, and I'm sure it probably was like posed to some degree, but it looks like this is just how I was.
Well, it always starts there. And that's the thing of it. Like when I have guests and I put them in something and I grab that shot because it's a beautiful shot. And then they stop and they move and they wait for me. And they do this, whatever they do, everybody stops and does, like, so I'll have them in like a look, and then they'll stop and they'll wait for me like this, and I'm like, don't move, don't do anything else. Let me grab that shot. Like there is that element, and it is of just pure surprise. That relaxed version of us when we're not trying, when we're just existing, just taking up space, just waiting, whatever it is that we're doing. There's a look in everybody's eyes when they do the thing, and it's really powerful.
It's when you relax back into yourself.
Yes.
You know?
Gorgeous. I love it so much.
When you're not trying to serve your photographer. You're just like, I'm waiting.
Yeah.
Oh, me?
And I'm like, dang it. Why'd I put my camera down? Because I miss it sometimes, and then I have to wait till the next time. Yep, I'll just wait till the next time. But
exactly.
And then the next one was the duo shoot, which we did talk about feelings on that one. It was more of a
telling a story. That was the artistic fusion, and that was like we all worked hard that day, man. Like, we
tried the dirty dancing,
the progression.
The run, the jump, and launch into the air.
That was so much fun.
We tried that so many times.
Yeah.
Golly, that was good.
The prancing and holding hands and all the things, that was just so fun.
I forgot about that until just now.
We weren't in makeup. That was just all natural.
Yes.
And that was like...
and then we came back, and we didn't do that. I did your hair in a mohawk. Okay, yeah, that was a really fun day. That was intense. It was a big day of a lot of stuff, but it was so gorgeous.
We nailed it.
So good. Showers.
I will be honest. It's one of like, and I'm saying this because I think it's important for people to know that like there is like a reality aspect to it. But like there were a couple shots where we were doing like eating grapes together, and it was like very like super cute, and like something I can remember from then is like, oh my gosh, she's so much prettier than me. I don't even deserve to be in this picture. Like, and I just want to say that because it's important to like acknowledge that like it's always going to be a growth piece.
Yes.
But now, years and sessions forward too, I can reflect on those and say, Sammy is striking and gorgeous.
Yes.
And like, I don't think many people would want to be in competition with that. She is so beautiful, but I no longer feel like I don't deserve to be in that picture, and I do feel like I bring something to it.
Yes.
And I can see things in myself now that I couldn't then. And also like something to having larger images too. I think until I had them, I was like, do I want them big? It's like those little criticism pieces that come out. And then seeing them, I'm like, and I know that my butt is on Sammy's wall.
Yes, yeah. It was an exchange.
Yeah. And so it's like the unexpected ways that it's like, oh, I do. As the beauty of those moments settles in and like integrates with reality again, we can still have our moments of, but now, like, wow, like to think that like one of the unexpected gifts is taking yourself out of competition with women that you love. Yeah. Because I love Sammy. It's not like, is she better this? It's not that. It's just this, like, we see these things in other people. We don't think that they exist in ourselves. Yes. And I think what you capture is like the reverse of that, where you can say, yes, other people see this in you too. Yeah. And so
I can tell you 100% that when I looked at both of those, when I looked at the images, all I saw was like just two beautiful human beings. I never one time felt, and you can definitely tell an image where one person takes from the other, or it's photographed in a way where one person is taken from the other. And sometimes you do that intentionally. Like I'll put one face in focus and then I'll come from the other side. Yeah. But like, and that's obvious. But like, there's never a single time that I looked at those images and felt anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, I really think you guys are so truly beautiful people. And they're just such stunning images. They really are. And you both brought such a different vibe, but both very powerful. Like your hair and your vibe, like you appeared exactly how you wanted to. You had a vibe and a vision for like what you wanted to be that day. And I feel like you looked exactly like that. And it showed. Yes. And Sammy as well. And so I really, really feel that from the images. I never felt any sort of like, yeah, but I wish, or yeah, but this from any of those images.
And that's just it, is like that opportunity to view yourself as the observer. That's what these type of images give you.
Right. And I think it is important to note real feelings like what you're talking about right now, because I have had clients book a session. I would say one person, but I've had people book a session and be so scared, wish that they didn't do it, because they want to do the session. It's not about not wanting to. It has nothing to do with me, but they're scared to death. You know, and I even, as far as had a client one time say, you know, I don't want to come anymore. And I said, okay, that's okay. But you already paid for the experience. You know, how about you still come and get your hair and your makeup? Have you ever had a session like this before? Have you had experience like this? And she said no. And I was like, how about you come and get your hair and your makeup done and you have a girl day. And if at the end you feel like taking any picture at all, you let me take a picture. So you remember the day. But if you don't, you had a really amazing girl's day out of it. You know? And then she did to come. And she ended up taking a couple images because she felt really good. She felt safe and she had the opportunity to leave.
Yes.
And that was really important. But not everybody, like, she had a point too. Like, I took up a couple pictures. She's like, that was enough. That's enough. And I was like, okay, that's good. I'm okay with that. Like, I feel, how do you feel? Like, I didn't even necessarily feel like, yes, I got her. Because I was so concerned with, like, did she feel like that was too much? Did she feel like she took it too far? Did she feel like she had to at all? Like, I really was, you know, but it is scary. Like, some of us have been told, and I don't know necessarily remember this person's story, but some of us have been told our whole lives that we're not good enough, or have told ourselves we're not good enough, or we were never provided the space to feel good, whether it was verbally or not. So the journey of the photo shoot is a really, really big one. And I've also had a few guests that looked at their images afterward, and they weren't like, hell yeah, I'm so sexy. And I also know that I can't change 30 plus years of self-doubt or self-hate or big feelings in a photo shoot. I can't do that. But what I did provide is a difference. Like you say, just changing what did you say?
Moving the needle.
Moving the needle, just a little bit.
Just a teeny bit.
I provided an experience that when she does look at the images, she remembers how she felt that day. And I don't just photograph women, I photograph everyone. But when people see their images, I always say now, the images are really bonus. They're the end game bonus. It's how you felt during your session. Because if I took amazing images of you, but you felt like crap during it, or like some unkind things were said, or you really felt insecure, or pushed, or out of your comfort zone, and just like, all you're going to see in your images is exactly what you felt. So the images are bonus. But when you look at those images, even if you're not exactly thrilled with what you see, you could still love how you felt that day. And we're moving the needle. So that was one thing. And it only took one session. It felt a little hard the first time I experienced it. Like, you don't love it? And I didn't say that, of course. But I was like, I know this isn't about me. This is a love journey. And I can't, how selfish would it be? And how much of a pedestal would I have to put myself on to think that I could change her life in one photo shoot? Or change a life in one photo shoot? But in little tiny ways. And that's where it matters the most.
Exactly. It's not just like, boom, I'm fixed now. It's like, this was a big experience that hopefully will be starting to balance, like you said, the whole lifetime of these things.
Unlock a little door, prove, like you had like, oh, I am actually cute, like people say. It sounds so small, but it really is big. And I've actually had a lot of those, oh, I actually am moments in the last 2 years of my life. And every time you have one, you can't undo it. You can't go back from there now. When you finally have that door open realization, it feels so good. And it's just another page turned in the book, another chapter, another story, another adventure.
And that's, I think, what makes people want to shoot again, because you have the experience and then you build upon it and then you think, I could do that again, and maybe differently, and maybe get this out of it. And it does change. And like the reasons that like we might come to someone like you in life are all so diverse and different. Yes. There is no like, we have the universal experience of like being raised in this exact world in this exact time, but like I don't think most people would have looked at my images and said, she's afraid of a camera. And feels like she owes something to her consumers to walk the walk.
Right.
Nobody would have thought, she did this for work.
Yeah.
She did this for integrity. People would have looked at those and said, oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
I bet her boyfriend liked that, you know?
Right.
And that was not
maybe
it at
would
all,
have been like an ode to the shape of your body.
Yeah.
Or like just
anything
typical,
that integrity... Integrity would not be the reason that anyone would have guessed, right? And so that is, I mean, it's also unique to everyone, but...
And I love it. I love it. I love it.
I love you.
I love you.
You're the best.
How do we
end? Do we end?
I think we're there. We did big things. I think my first 2 podcasts were like 24 minutes and like 27. But we knew... We knew this was going to be a long one. I don't even think we allowed like a break. Maybe when I got up and down, we could split this into 2. But this was good. And we knew it was going to be a big one. And I was the crier, not you. So what the hell?
Bitch. Girl, I fucking owe you though. I will not lie to you, that was embarrassing. Like when I started crying and then I tried to stop crying and then I cried harder.
You know? Here's the thing.
It's a testament to you, but holy fuck. I wanted to show up for you in a particular way and I couldn't, and I felt like such a bad support.
I don't remember I physically don't remember you crying. So I wonder if I was in such a state of anxiety that whole time that I tuned out. I remember moving your hair during parts of the shoot. I remember a little bit of...
Well, because I had gotten that horrible haircut. My hair was not supposed to be like that. And I had, I believe, just gotten the haircut fixed from what it was. Okay. But I was like, what can we do with the bowl cut? We're going to go for a vintage look. You know
but it was cute.
It was fine. It was fine. But like, and I look good, but like that,
I wonder, I know I'm going to remember you crying one day. I'm going to remember it because it's going to come back in like but I don't remember it right now. But okay, friends, we're going to end it.
Oh yeah.
This is Sarah. We did it. Podcast number 3. I said I wasn't going to number these, but I still keep doing it every single time. I have to.
It's podcast number 3, 4, 5, and 6.
It is. All of them. But the sentimental person in me will not allow me to be like, maybe this would be number 1 or maybe this would be number 6. No, it's the 3rd one I did, so it has to be number 3.
What if it's interview number 3, and then you have flexibility to like...
do whatever.
If something's like just a
video log, video. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. It's a good time. And I'm really excited to see what these turn into. So one thing I do want to do is, if people have questions, if you have thoughts about some of the things that we've talked about, questions about body waxing, if the guests that I bring on have a specialty, a service, or just questions that you have specific to their feelings or how they showed up in session or how it was together, reach out, get in the comments. When these launch, whether it be on the podcasting platforms, because I know this is going to be just a podcast, so it would be just audio, but eventually there also is going to be on platforms for video. I'm not necessarily sure. It has to be on YouTube, right? I mean, that's pretty much the OG place to be. So wherever you're finding this video or stream, ask questions, reach out. There is absolutely going to be social media. It's going to be on the B&B page, the Beauty Marks Boudoir page, as just the OG videos from there. But then it's going to be filtered out in the same way that a podcast or a video podcast is going to be filtered out. So keep your eyes out for that. But ask the questions authentically, because one of the most important parts of this, or maybe valuable, or what value I want to be found in these podcasts, is that everybody's worthy of this session. And everybody does it for a different reason. And it can purely be because you feel smoking hot and you want to capture it. It can, but it can be because you don't. It can be because you want to capture connection with your partner or partners. It can be because
fuck that guy.
Yes, because you're done with your partner. It can be a gift purely because you want to create a gift on your wedding day. And that is okay. If it's not really your jam, but you're doing it because, and it can be private. It can be 100% private. Nobody ever has to know you're in my studio. And I have a lot of that as well. It's a very small percentage, actually.
I do really love when someone comes to me and they're like, oh my God, was that you? Holy shit.
You'll never believe, actually, because there's 2 pictures in my office of you. It's the one from the Airbnb, just up against the rail, I think, like maybe with your hand up, sitting on the stairs.
Oh, yes, I know the one.
Everybody's like, I know her. And I'm like, yeah, probably. Then you know her. And then
and then they're like,
and then I point up to your like high heels and high waist bottom half from your first session. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's a good time. But yes, reach out, connect, comment, ask questions, get engaged with this, and I'm really excited to see what it all turns into as we blossom. And if you have done a session with me and you also would like to talk about your experience, reach out at worthy@beautymarksboudoir.com. See you later.
I'm famous.
She's famous. I'm famous. She's been famous for years.